Part 25. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 241. Feng Qingxiu smiled and sighed. Lu Jiang's thoughtfulness made her feel warmer. In fact, sometimes the secret that only one person knows is so heavy in my heart that I can't breathe, and I worry about leaking the news in my sleep every moment. I just put the more valuable things into the space. The space is the Sumi mustard seed. As soon as Feng Qingxiu thought about it, the box containing the jewelry appeared in front of Lu Jiang. Such a thing that appeared out of thin air frightened Lu Jiang. Fortunately, his wife warned him, so he didn't lose his composure. So magical. Lu Jiang's eyes widened and he reached out to touch the box. He opened it and saw that it indeed contained the jewelry that he and his father had given her. Feng Qingxiu touched the box with her finger, and the box immediately disappeared, which once again opened Lu Jiang's eyes. Will it have a bad impact on you? After seeing the magic of space, Lu Jiang became even more worried. He looked at his wife nervously, fearing that her answer would reflect his worries. Feng Qingxiu shook her head, probably not. Should you? You're not sure yet, so you use it so boldly and hide things in it so boldly. When people are about to starve to death, what else do they care about? Feng Qingxiu smiled softly, then put her hand on the back of his hand and shook it gently. Don't worry, Jiang, I have experimented many times, the space has not brought any bad effects to me, but has made me and my family have no worries about food and clothing. Although I don't know what I have accumulated in my previous life, I will make good use of the space. Come live and help the people I can. Lu Jiang hugged her tightly and said, You must have been a good person in your previous life to have such a blessing. I don't know. However, I am very grateful to God for letting me meet you and allowing me to get space. At least, I can guarantee that my family and my children will never starve or freeze. I am also very grateful to God for allowing me to meet you, Lu Jiang said without hesitation. The couple hugged each other quietly, without saying a word, but the room was full of warmth and tenderness. Is the body armor you gave me before also from space? Lu Jiang asked in a low voice after a long time. Feng Qingxiu nodded. I couldn't explain the source at the time, so I could only make up a story to deceive Mr. Ye and the others. What a lie! You can't tell them the truth, Lu Jiang said directly, and then explained, what happened to you is too miraculous. Apart from me, don't let any third person know, including our father, remember. Are you living? Our dad is very smart and wise. He must be muttering in his heart, but he will never ask. You don't need to hide the supplies you take home, and you don't need to explain them deliberately. He will definitely not talkative. For outsiders and other people, you still have to blame me for all the sources of supplies. After I return to the army, I will send you money and letters every month to cover up. Lu Jiang was worried that others would find clues, and continued, You are indeed rich in supplies and have a lot of them. Then I will contact some of my comrades who are currently in contact with me, and then write to them and ask them if I can use the supplies in our hands to share with them. If they agree, I will write my contact information in a letter and send it to you, and you can send it directly to them without telling anyone you know. They will send you the exchanged specialties, and you can add some on the way home. Things that no one outside knows. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 242. Lu Jiang's goal was to find a reasonable source for Feng Qingxiu's supplies that could withstand scrutiny. He and his comrades are the least likely to arouse suspicion. The reason why he didn't stop his wife from taking supplies from the space was because of his wife and their unborn child. He didn't want his wife and his couple's baby to live a life of lack of food and clothing and extreme nutritional deficiencies after they were born. It can easily lead to countless bad consequences. He has witnessed with his own eyes the situation of people changing their children and eating them, and he has also seen many people with horribly swollen faces. Moreover, he did not want his father and nephew to live in poverty while he was serving the country. Why give up on taking advantage of the opportunity to improve your life? Lu Zhang has experienced life and death countless times, and he has always been open-minded in this regard. King Xiu, you really answered what Dad said. You are our Lu family's lucky star, the great lucky star. Lu Zhang sighed, but his sigh was full of gratitude. The benefits you have brought to us, far more than what we pay for you. You must take great risks when you take things from the space. Feng Qingxiu smiled, it's not as dangerous as you said. Those who have benefited from me will not ask me where I got the supplies. Everyone knows that they must be able to get scarce supplies. I went through the back door and it's not good to ask too many questions. What does it mean to be fully aware? This is. No matter what the world thinks, no matter how hard they think, they will never think that they have a portable space. Of course, except Lu Zhang. Because Lu Zhang knew his own details, and he also knew that he had never done this in front of others. He had never presented specialties belonging to different regions to the same person. That being said, it is still very dangerous. This danger must be eliminated so that I can rest assured in the army. What do you think of the method I just mentioned? Lu Zhang asked seriously, his mind spinning rapidly. Just like Hot Wheels, if this method is not feasible, is there any other way to eliminate the dangers caused by accessing space materials? Feng Qingxiu said without hesitation, you are very considerate, I have no objection. One person is short-term, two people are long-term. Lu Jiang's arrangement was indeed more subtle and easier to convince than trying to make up lies on his own. Lu Jiang felt relieved and no longer thought about it. As long as you agree, I will contact my comrades across the country as soon as I return to the army. After hearing this, Feng Qingxiu smiled and said, why do you have to wait until you return to the army to contact them? You can write to them now. In this way, you can receive their reply earlier. Look at me, Lu Zhang slapped his forehead, I'm really confused. You're right, I can contact them now. At worst, I can leave them the contact information of my army and let them send a letter to the army. Which can save a month or half a month. I can also leave them our home address. If they receive the letter and agree with my suggestion, they can send the things directly to my home, and you can then exchange what they want in their letter. Send them some supplies. So, early the next morning, Lu Zhang began to write letters to his comrades. After serving in the army for 13 years, he had comrades in the Northeast Forest Farm, the Northwest Corps, the Southeast Coast, the Mongolian grasslands, everywhere, not including those who retired or changed jobs. Feng Qingxiu helped him sort out the letters and expressed his admiration. With such a wide network of contacts, no wonder he made such an arrangement. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 243. After breakfast, Feng Qingxiu helped him organize his stationery and expressed his admiration. With such a wide network of contacts, it was no wonder he made such an arrangement. What's your reason for trading supplies with them? She suddenly asked. No matter what happens, there must be a suitable reason, right? Lu Zhang stretched out, isn't there a ready-made reason right in front of me? What other reasons do I need to find? Feng Qingxiu was stunned, ready-made. Why didn't she see it? My wife is pregnant and needs nutritional supplements, and my family is short of supplies, so I can only ask them for help. After Lu Zhang finished writing a letter to the last comrade he could contact, he put down the pen, folded the letter paper, turned sideways and touched the back of Feng Qingxiu's hand. The smooth and tender touch made him love it so much that he couldn't help but touch it again and again. Touch. Feng Qingxiu looked at him sideways and slapped his hand away. Asking for help and trading are two different things, okay. Ajahn, your confusion last night is not over yet? Asking for help means asking them to get us some supplies, but trading is bartering. We have agreed to trade with them and borrow them to explain the source of space materials, but not to take advantage of them, but also to try to help them. If you write to ask for help, then what reason do we have to send them things? I won't take advantage of them. You said it yourself. It's hard for everyone. Oh, my wife is so smart. After hearing Lu Jiang's full of praise, Feng Qingxiu's squinting eyes became even more squinting. Say it quickly. Actually, it's very simple. Let me just say that the food harvest in our hometown is quite good. I can save part of the military food stamps every month, so I can buy some food and exchange it with them for local specialties to supplement your nutrition. To put it bluntly, non-staple food is, of course, everyone covets it, and the most lacking thing is food, so it is most suitable to trade food with them for special products. At the same time, he was afraid that using non-staple food and other materials in exchange would arouse their suspicion. Food is different. Those who need fine grains can be sent a few kilograms of fine grains, and those who need coarse grains can be sent more coarse grains. This will not only allow them to feed themselves or their families, but Feng Qingxiu can also take space supplies calmly without making other excuses. Lu Jiang was very attentive. He knew each of the comrades he contacted, but they did not know each other. As long as they were familiar with each other, Lu Jiang would not contact them, fearing that they might have something in common with each other. Feng Qingxiu thought for a while and smiled. That's right, we don't care at all what they can send. All we need is an excuse for them to send things. 1 or 2 transactions a month is enough. That's right. Just rest in the house and I'll cook the mutton. I'm fine and not tired, why should I rest? I'll be with you. The mutton has been soaked in well water since last night, and the water has been changed 3 or 4 times. Now the blood is gone. After washing it, peel off the white layer of mutton oil on it. Cut the rest into large pieces and throw in the meat with the bones. Pour water into a large pot, bring to a boil over high heat, skim off the foam on top, then add ginger slices, peppercorns, star anise and other ingredients. Turn to a simmer and simmer. Feng Qingxiu cut the dried pork suet into small pieces, boiled the oil in a small pot, and finally fished out the golden and slightly burnt oil residue, then scooped the oil into the oil can, filling 2½ cans. Feng Qingyun and Guan Yu, who were playing in the yard, smelled the fragrance and came over. Sister, aunt, have you cooked before noon? The greedy cat has a sharp nose. Feng Qingxiu picked up the chopsticks, picked up a few pieces of hot oil residue, dipped it in some sugar and fed it to them. We have mutton at noon, it is being cooked now, don't worry. I know, they are looking forward to lunch. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 244. At noon, everyone had soup and mutton. Lu Tianjun, who was away at school, left a portion alone and put away the rest. As for the small half-flavored bone-in lamb, even if it shrinks by 30% after stewing, you can't afford to eat it in one meal. In the evening, Feng Qingxiu kept her promise and cooked a large pot of vegetable paste with the mother-in-law's food picked by several children after school. It's really not bitter. And it's so fragrant and delicious. Guan Yu drank bowl after bowl. His belly was so bulging that he couldn't eat the staple food at all. The same was true for Lu Tianzi and Feng Qingyun. It was really good for the family. Saved a lot of food. Father Lu shook his head. It's not bitter because your aunt used enough good ingredients. Try boiling it with water to see if it's bitter. Guan Yu quickly shook his head. He didn't want to try. It wasn't like he didn't know clearly. Because it was evening, it was not advisable to overeat, so the adults didn't care that the children didn't eat their staple food. Not long after the meal, Father Lu remembered that tomorrow was his son's last acupuncture massage and asked, Ajiang, after tomorrow, will you leave to return to the army? Yes, Lu Jiang nodded, I have delayed my return for acupuncture and massage, and I can't delay it any longer. Feng Qingxiu said, let Dad accompany you tomorrow, and I will prepare food for you at home for the journey. I'm almost healed. I can go by myself. Anyway, I'm riding a mule cart and don't have to walk. Let our father stay at home. The farm work is about to be busy now, and the animals in the cowshed cannot be separated from our father. Father Lu is not at home, who can come to feed the livestock? Lu Jiang didn't want his wife to be tired. If he didn't let her go, he would let her rest at home instead of working at home. He insisted on this, but Feng Qingxiu couldn't force him too much. She watched him leave the next day and started to work on her own. Fortunately, as he said himself, he was already recovering, and he was just waiting to return to the army and recuperate for a while to undergo the next round of shrapnel removal surgery. After the surgery, he recovered and his movements would no longer be affected. Although it is the golden autumn, the power of the autumn tiger is still there, and many cooked foods cannot be brought into the car. Therefore, Feng Qingxiu prepared dry food for Lu Jiang for 2 days. The staple food was baked multi-grain pancakes. While Lu Jiang was not at home, he sent Guan Yu and Feng Qingyun, who were not in school, to go out to play. Feng Qingxiu hid in the bedroom and took out various canned meats from the space. She used the sandpaper she found to rub off the writing labels on them, especially the production labels. Date, shelf life, etc., and in the end there is only a layer of white traces left on the can. She planned to do the same thing with the packaging bags for grilled chicken, donkey meat, spiced beef, and other cooked foods, but suddenly she remembered that after removing the packaging bags, there were tin-foil bags or plastic bags vacuum sealed. She just needed to be careful not to leave any marks on them that were not in line with this era. Feng Qingxiu always wanted to prepare more food for Lu Jiang and was worried that he would starve on the road. Except for the matter of time travel, there were no secrets between the two. When they returned to the bedroom at night, after Lu Jiang closed the door, Feng Qingxiu took things directly from the space, enough to fill 2 large luggage bags for him. 2 pairs of cashmere clothes and trousers with the tags cut off, several pairs of mille-layer cloth shoes, 2 pairs of autumn clothes and trousers made by myself. Oranges and apples are common fruits, as well as red-skinned pomegranates, which are in line with the current season. That's enough, that's enough. You can keep it for yourself to eat and replenish your nutrition. Knowing that the supplies in that space are not inexhaustible, Lu Jiang hoped that they could be left for his wife to enjoy, so that 1 person can eat and 2 people can supplement them. Don't worry, there are still a lot of fruits in the space. She traveled to so many places and bought countless fruits. Lu Jiang hugged her, resting his chin on her shoulder, and a sigh escaped from his lips, I really can't bear to leave. I can't bear to leave you either. I noticed that there are a lot of night owls, so go get some sleep and go to bed early and get up early for good health. Although Wo is updated in the early morning, it is on time. By 9 o'clock, Wo has already had a date with Zhou Jing. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 245. The moment Lu Jiang stepped out of the house, Feng Qingxiu's heart suddenly lost half of her heart. Empty, fluttering, always unable to settle down, unable to find a harbor to rest. Ah Jiang. Feng Qingxiu walked quickly, and when she exited the gate, she saw only the mule cart going away, and Wang Zhenqiu and Lu Jiang driving the car. Lu Jiang's heart skipped a beat, as if he felt something. He turned around suddenly and saw his wife chasing after him. He immediately waved to her and said loudly, Qingxiu, go back and rest quickly. Don't follow me. Wait until I have a holiday now, I'm going home. Feng Qingxiu chased her for 2 steps before stopping, and 2 lines of tears fell from her cheeks. Ajiang. As the mule cart went further and further away, Lu Jiang, who was still waving, was soon no longer visible. Lu Jiang couldn't see his wife and slowly put down his hand. Wang Zhenqiu sighed in his heart, but smiled and said, "Okay, Lu Jiang, don't worry about home when you are serving the country outside. Your family's biggest wish is to ensure your own safety." "I remember, uncle." Thinking of his pregnant wife, Lu Jiang couldn't help but said, "Uncle, when I'm not at home, you have to take more care of my father, my wife, my sister-in-law and a few nephews. Please take care of me. Xue is weak, and you know that life in my family is not as difficult as it seems to outsiders, and I don't want King Xiu to do heavy work." Wang Zhenqiu smiled and scolded, "You really love your wife." Lu Jiang chuckled. Although Feng Qingxiu always said that neither doctor had fully confirmed that she was pregnant, and asked Lu Jiang to keep quiet so as not to make a joke out of not being pregnant in the end, Lu Jiang was basically certain that she was pregnant. Therefore, he kept chattering to Wang Zhenqiu, "Uncle, I am serious, don't take it to heart. I know that it is already August in the lunar calendar, and it will be busy farming in 2 days, peeling sweet potatoes, breaking corn, cutting rice is not an easy job. I thought about it carefully, and you shouldn't assign it to King Xiu for any job that requires bending and squatting. As you say, let's just stop Xue from working," Wang Zhenqiu said angrily. "That's best, please give me a reason." Lu Jiang immediately hit the snake with a stick. Wang Zhenqiu pointed at him and stared, speechless for a moment. In the following time, from the time he sent Lu Jiang into the station until he got on the bus, Lu Jiang discussed the topic of not letting Feng Qingxiu go out to do heavy work. Wang Zhenqiu kept nodding in agreement. Only with the help of the flight attendant, Lu Jiang got on the bus with peace of mind. Train. Wang Zhenqiu followed Lu Jiang's instructions and sent a brief urgent telegram to his comrade Zhao Yang, and then drove home. Driving past the door of his house, he saw his daughter sitting on the stone pier at the door, happily eating melon seeds. The skins of melon seeds were lying on the ground at her feet. He suddenly became angry and said, "Wang Xiao, when I leave in the morning, you are still eating melon seeds when you come back. What on earth do you want to do? Your mother is busy every day, so you can't help me." "Who says I didn't help? I have a share of the credit for lunch tonight. I cooked the pot." Wang Jiao shook back the 2 braids hanging down to her chest, stood up and said, "I'm going to find Xiaoxiu. Go ahead and play, so you don't have to be picky at home every day." Wang Jiao likes to be with Feng Qingxiu very much. She is good looking and she is happy to see her. The most important thing is that Feng Qingxiu will treat herself to delicious food when she has it, and she never gossips about herself behind her back, such as being lazy and ugly. Don't think she doesn't know that many people say that about her behind her back, and even encourages Zhang Yuejin to regret the marriage. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 246. Although she had been married to the Lu family for a long time, because Lu Jiang was recuperating at home, Feng Qingxiu devoted herself to taking care of him and rarely went out to visit other people's homes. Even when she went out, she would go to her uncle and aunt's house to sit. Therefore, Feng Qingxiu was very happy to see Wang Xiao, who often visited her, and it relieved the pain of Lu Jiang's departure. No matter how many faults Wang Xiao has, even strangers can't see through her and feel that she is not a good candidate to be a daughter-in-law. However, Feng Qingxiu envies her carefreeness and the vitality that belongs to this era. This kind of Wang Jiao is as comfortable as a fish in water and lives a leisurely and contented life. That is her ability. "Cousin, is uncle back?" Feng Qingxiu asked directly. Counting the time, Wang Zhenqiu should have arrived home, and Lu Jiang should have boarded the train long ago. Thinking of Lu Jiang, who didn't know when he would come back again, Feng Qingxiu's mood instantly dropped again. My dad? He's back. When he came back, he scolded me for only eating melon seeds at home and not working. I ran out when I got angry. Wang Jiao sat down on the chair and watched Guan Yu trying to hold up his arms. Holding a roll of wool, Feng Qingxiu found a thread from the roll, slowly wrapped it around her finger, and twisted it into a ball of wool. The color of the wool was red and extremely bright. Seeing this, Wang Jiao was filled with envy. Xiaoxiu, did Lu Zhang buy you new wool? It's so beautiful. Feng Qingxiu pursed her lips and smiled, making no comment on Wang Zhenqiu's scolding Wang Jiao, and did not answer Wang Jiao's question. Instead, she asked, "Cousin, you also think this curly yarn is beautiful?" "No, there's nothing bad about red wool. Wang Jiao likes red the most, bright red. Can I use this yarn to knit a sweater for my cousin?" After listening to Feng Qingxiu's words, Wang Jiao was stunned for a moment. Her finger, which was so black from eating melon seeds that there was even residual dirt between her fingernails, pointed at her nose and stammered, "Sweater? Xiaoxiu, you. Are you kidding me? This is wool, new wool. And it's red. Last time, Zhang Yu and I went to the department store and asked, the wool yarn is 20 yuan a pound. Blended wool is not that expensive, but it costs 10 yuan to buy a kilogram. You can't buy it without a ticket. Xiaoxiu, I'm not much shorter than you, and I seem to be a little fatter than you. It costs 2 kilograms of thread to knit a sweater." Wang Jiao said that she couldn't believe that such a good thing could happen. A pound of blended wool costs 10 yuan, and a sweater costs at least 20 yuan. 20 yuan is Zhang Yuejin's 20 days' salary. Seeing Wang Jiao like this, Feng Qingxiu actually smiled. "Didn't I tell my cousin on the day of my wedding that I would give her a new dress when she gets married? My cousin got married after autumn and early winter. At that time, I thought again, wear cotton clothes, it's too hot, wear single clothes, it's too cold, knit a sweater and wear it with a jacket, it will definitely look good." Wang Jiao's words made Wang Jiao's heart beat wildly. She looked like she wanted it but was embarrassed to ask for it, which was very funny. As long as Wang Jiao didn't come to snatch her brother-in-law, Feng Qingyun didn't hate her, and deliberately said bluntly, "Cousin, if you don't want it, I will ask my sister to knit me a new sweater. My sister said that my brother-in-law gave it to her last year. The wool she bought was used to knit a sweater for me. It's a little too small for me this year, so I plan to take it apart and add some thread to knit it for me, but I still prefer the new one." Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 247. Before Feng Qingyun could finish her words, Wang Jiao immediately took the yarn ball that Feng Qingxiu had just wrapped into her arms. The movement is as fast as wind and lightning. "No, Xiaoxiu, you told me to knit a sweater for me, not for Xiaoun." Wang Jiao hugged the ball of wool tightly and looked at Feng Qingxiu without blinking, worried that she would regret it. Feng Qingxiu laughed and said, "Yunyun is joking with you, cousin. Don't worry, I will knit it for you and do what I say." Wang Jiao immediately beamed, "You do what you said." "Of course," Feng Qingxiu responded. "I knew you were the best, Xiaoxiu. You are a good person. From now on, if my parents praise you, I will never be jealous of you again." "Uncle and Grandma, do you always praise me?" Wang Jiao nodded vigorously, "Of course, you are so kind, handsome, hard-working, and sweet-tongued. If you have any good things, you don't forget to give them to them. They wish you were their daughter, but I am not." In fact, Wang Jiao is not stupid. Feng Qingxiu is good to her parents and not bad to herself. She has not harmed her own interests. She has no reason to hate Feng Qingxiu. She just feels unhappy when her parents praise her sometimes. Not anymore. No matter how you say it, she is also a person who has benefited from Feng Qingxiu. Anyone who can bring benefits to herself is a good person. Feng Qingxiu could see Wang Jiao's thoughts at a glance. They were so simple and straightforward that it made people laugh and cry. Feng Qingyun couldn't help but look sideways. This cousin is so easy to coax. Well, let's just keep doing it like this, because she has a fierce temper, and she is her uncle's precious daughter. No one in the Wanglu brigade dares to mess with her, and she can do it in the future. Protect my sister. Wang Jiao reluctantly returned the yarn ball to Feng Qingxiu and warned, Xiaoxiu, you must knit it for me. Cousin, don't worry, it will definitely happen. Feng Qingxiu put the yarn ball into the handbag next to her. There were already several yarn balls in the handbag. The handbag I made myself out of rags. The colorful rags were cut into triangles and placed in pairs facing each other. The pattern is a bit like paddy clothes, with lace on the edges, which is very beautiful. Wang Jiao couldn't put it down. Xiaoxiu, your hands are so skillful. You can also learn. Cousin Feng Qingxiu recalled that Miao Fengqin told her that her daughter didn't know how to sew and make shoes. She especially regretted not forcing her to learn when she was a child. Will she or her mother-in-law still have to give it to her when she gets married? Does she do needlework? I don't want to study, I'm so tired. Wang Jiao quickly shook her head. Feng Qingxiu smiled and said, if you ask me, cousin, you should learn it. Why? I don't study, but I still have clothes and shoes to wear. I don't know how to do it, so why can't I afford it? Zhang Yuejin said that from now on, all his wages will be given to me. Then let me ask you, do you think the clothes sold in department stores are better looking, or the clothes I make? Wang Jiao was stunned when she heard this and looked Feng Qingxiu up and down with her eyes. The upper body is wearing a white long-sleeved shirt with slanted buttons, and the lower body is wearing gray trousers, which are wide and wide, which is a common style. The material is made of cotton and linen and has no patterns. It looks very good looking, especially the red one. The plum blossoms are buckled on the plate, just like the red plum blossoms, which are particularly eye-catching. You did a great job, Wang Jiao blurted out. The red shirt you wore on your wedding day was so beautiful, I still remember it. At first glance, the style is the same as the one sold in department stores, but it looks great on you. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 248. Feng Qingxiu touched the buttons of her coat and said with a smile, cousin, let me tell you, it is very convenient if you can make your own clothes. You can make whatever you want, and you can also add some exquisite little details to your clothes. The decoration looks different from those outside. Whether it's the tailors outside or the older generation, they sew clothes and make shoes quite well, and the trousers can be made into sacks. Wang Jiao looked down at her pants. Didn't they look like sacks? In summer, I only wear a pair of trousers. In winter, these trousers are worn over cotton trousers. I can't live without them all year round. It's just too ugly. Moreover, my pants are filled with wind when I walk. Feng Qingxiu thought there was a way and continued, look, your pants don't look good, do they? Although my pants are also loose, they can't be used as sacks like you. If you can make your own clothes, you can wear them from the inside in summer. Open the trousers along the seams, reduce the size and sew them inward. Iron the seams with an iron and they will become straight and look good on you. Wait until you wear cotton clothes and then disassemble them and sew them back to the original size. They will still look the same. You can wear it all year round without wasting any fabric. She was afraid that she would teach Wang Jiao how to waste cloth when there was a lack of cloth tickets, so she quickly added this paragraph at the end. Then, she smiled and said, I have a sewing machine here, and I also have special thread for sewing machines. With the help of the sewing machine, it is more convenient and faster than flying stitches by myself. My cousin can come and use it often. Wang Jiao looked thoughtful, which seemed to make sense. Even if you are patching, You can also sew a nice looking patch or embroider a flower on the patch. My handbag is made of rags. In fact, rags can also be made into a shirt. The front and back are the patchwork paddy field clothes, with 2 sleeves made of solid color fabric, are equally beautiful. I plan to make a piece of clothing like this for Yun Yun. The rags are not eye-catching, and they look good. Feng Qingyun was young and a girl, so it didn't matter if her clothes were a little fancy. Wang Jiao's heart was moved, but she still hesitated a little. Will it be very tiring? She didn't like being tired the most. Feng Qingxiu smiled and said, "No, it's much lighter than doing farm work. If you don't believe me, my cousin will go back and ask to see if everyone likes to do needlework or go to the fields to do farm work." After Wang Jiao returned home, she asked Miao Fengqin. Miao Fengqin reached out and touched her forehead. "Are you stupid? Why did I give birth to such a stupid girl like you? Of course it's because the needlework is light. If you don't do farm work, you will have no work points, and if you don't do the work points, you will have no food. Who would give up sewing and do farm work?" After hearing this, Wang Jiao knew that Feng Qingxiu had not lied to her. "That's great. I'll find Xiaoxiu tomorrow and ask her to teach me how to sew and make shoes. I'll definitely learn it." From now on, Zhang Yuejin asked Zhang Yuejin to save the cloth tickets and sew good-looking clothes and make good-looking shoes by himself. The red cloth shoes on Qingyun's feet are pretty good. They are much prettier than those sold outside. They must have been worn by Feng Qingxiu. Wang Jiao enthusiastically set her ambition, but Miao Fengqin was stunned. The daughter who has always been lazy is actually willing to learn needlework. It must be because the sun has risen from the west. Miao Fengqin was stunned for a moment and quickly realized that no matter what the reason was for her daughter to learn needlework, as long as she was willing to learn, at least she would not be said to have raised a lazy girl after she got married. After Miao Fengqin raised her hand in agreement, Wang Jiao took the old clothes and scraps of fabric at home to find Feng Qingxiu the next day. Dear night owls who saw this article for the first time, it's time to get some sleep. Go to bed early and get up early for good health. My date with Zhou was very beautiful. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 249. Wang Jiao may have thought she was stupid because she had never done needlework, but in fact she was not stupid at all. Under Feng Qingxiu's guidance, she quickly learned how to use a sewing machine, how to cut and sew clothes, and how to basic skills such as buttoning, how to hold shoe soles, etc., and the shoe patterns are also drawn and cut. Although the stitches are crooked, some are loose and some are dense, and the buttons are not very delicate, I have finally learned how to do it. What she learned fastest and best was knitting sweaters. Feng Qingxiu picked up the needle and knitted a few circles. It was a new pattern that was not available at the moment, but it would be very common in the future. She didn't know the exact name. After knitting it with this stitching method, a flower would appear on the sweater. The shape of small flowers side by side is different from the current flat knitting method without any pattern. Wang Jiao watched it for a while and thought it looked good, so she wanted to learn from her, but she quickly got the hang of it. There are 4 bamboo sweater needles on the knitted sweater that is 2 fingers wide. This is why Feng Qingxiu is knitting. 3 needles are used when starting the needle. The extra needle is used for knitting the sweater. When the time comes, I use the extra needle and the 3 needles to shuttle back and forth. After finishing one needle, I continue to the next needle. Wang Jiao started to weave loosely and tightly, and the flowers were big and small, which was very unsightly. In the end, she took it apart and reweaved it again. After a few days, Wang Jiao learned how to weave quickly and well, with tightness, which was no worse than Feng Qingxiu's weaving. I'll take the wool back and knit it myself. If I don't know how to finish it, I'll come back to you to help me. Wang Jiao feels very accomplished now and wants to get married wearing the sweater she knitted. When the time comes, she can proudly tell those who say she has nothing to do with it that she knitted it herself. Sweaters are not something anyone can knit if they want to. It's hard for a clever woman to make a meal without rice. How can she have the chance to knit a sweater if she can't buy wool? If you've never knitted a sweater, of course you don't know how to knit. Okay, Feng Qingxiu didn't refuse. She counted the time and found that the farm work was about to begin. Even if you are pregnant, you have to go to work. You will also have to take care of the food of the family and the children. How can you have free time to continue knitting sweaters? Wang Jiao is willing to take it back, so naturally she can spare the time. Okay, I'm leaving. Last time, Zhang Yuejin said that he would come to pay homage to my parents today. Feng Qingxiu was stunned. Wasn't it almost August 15th? Although Zhang Yuejin and Wang Jiao are not married, their marriage has been decided, and the wedding date is also set in the period after autumn and early winter. According to the current customs and rules, he has to give his father-in-law a gift, otherwise it is difficult to say whether the marriage can continue. The older they are, the more they pay attention to these things. They don't care about the amount of things. After all, supplies are scarce now, but they have to make this trip. Feng Qingxiu was thinking about whether she should go to her natal family. No one could come and go with her natal family, but Uncle Feng and Aunt Feng helped organize the wedding, and they also took care of the vegetable garden at home. You should go, even if you only send 2 pounds of noodles and 1 pound of fruit. Uncle Feng and Aunt Feng and the fellow villagers of Kahua Brigade will not call themselves ungrateful. When I talked to Father Lu during lunch, Father Lu said, "You should go, you should go, you should go. Those are your uncles and aunts. Don't say they arranged the marriage for you, but they didn't." According to the previous rules, when a married niece goes back to her parents' home to give gifts, she should also go to her uncle's house. Isn't this the first time she goes back to her parents' home to give gifts? I don't know what we have at home now. You can see for yourself. Pick 2 good ones and don't make people laugh in your first year. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 250. Determined to go back to her parents' home to give Uncle Feng and Aunt Feng a gift, Feng Qingxiu quickly came up with an idea. There was actually some good stuff at home, which she planned to leave for her family to eat. It was not easy to take it out once, so she went to find Wang Jiao after the meal. By coincidence, Zhang Yuejin had just finished eating and had not yet left. "My cousin is here? Sit down quickly, sit down quickly." Zhang Yuejin had a high status in the Wanglu Brigade, and he also went to the wedding banquet. Therefore, he recognized Feng Qingxiu, and Feng Qingxiu recognized him. Probably because he is a master who kills pigs and sells meat, he has a lot of oil and water, and eats well, so he is tall and burly, with thick eyebrows and big eyes. He is not ugly, but he has a sinister look. But according to the few words Wang Jiao usually reveals, Zhang Yuejin is very fond of her. It's very good, so Feng Qingxiu doesn't think anything of it. After all, there is a saying that people should not be judged by their appearance. "You're welcome, cousin. Are you here to pay homage to your uncle?" Feng Qingxiu said. Zhang Yuejin nodded with a smile and said in a rough voice, "It's almost August 15th, and there are so many people queuing up to buy meat. I finished my work early in the morning and had no work to do, so I just rushed back to see my parents." The parents were naturally calling Wang Zhiguo and Miao Fengqin. This shows that no matter what outsiders say about Wang Jiao, Zhang Yuejin really takes Wang Jiao into his heart and is willing to condone Wang Jiao's various behaviors. Therefore, Wang Zhenguo and Miao Fengqin's faces are full of smiles. Smiling, feeling extremely satisfied. Isn't it because they chose Zhang Yuejin because Zhang Yuejin just fell in love with Wang Jiao and didn't want to marry another gentle and virtuous girl? Wang Jiao blinked her big eyes and suddenly said, Zhang Yuejin, I am now learning needlework from my cousin. I can knit sweaters and make shoes. Tell me the size of your feet later and I will be the first to give it to you. Do. Wang Zhenqiu and Miao Fengqin felt sour in their hearts. On the other hand, Zhang Yuejin was stunned for a moment, and then smiled happily. Doing needlework hurts your eyes. Will it tire you out? Zhang Yuejin said this, which made everyone feel comfortable. Wang Jiao felt comfortable, and so did Wang Zhenqiu and Miao Fengqin. Wang Jiao blinked at him, even if I'm tired, I'm willing to do it for you first. Feng Qingxiu said that this cousin was also very good at speaking. No wonder she held Zhang Yuejin tightly and made Zhang Yuejin so devoted to her. People have a good life, even if the shoes are not made in the end, Zhang Yuejin will be happy if she has the intention to make them. Regarding this, you have to learn from it. Yuejin, don't spoil her. Don't tire her out by making a pair of shoes. You are about to get married. It's time for Jiao Jiao to learn some needlework. From now on, your clothes and shoes cannot be mended by outsiders. Miao Feng. In fact, Qin didn't want her daughter to be tired. After the scene was finished, the topic changed. Xiaoxiu, what's the matter with you coming here right now? Feng Qingxiu said hurriedly, isn't it almost August 15th? I want to go to my second uncle and second aunt's house. Ajiang left me a ticket when he left. I want to ask my cousin to go shopping in the city tomorrow. See if I can buy some meat, mooncakes and fruits. My cousin wants to buy meat? How much do you want to buy? I'll leave it for you in advance. It's almost the Mid-Autumn Festival, and there are more supplies in the city than usual. After I kill the pigs tomorrow, half of them should be distributed to me. You give me a price when buying other things. I have a good relationship with the salespersons at the grocery store. If the supply is in short supply, let them keep it privately for you. When you and Jiao Jiao arrive, you can just take the tickets and bring them back without queuing. Zhang Yuejin said with a wink.